quiet, still, watching. That cat isn't being indifferent. That cat is reading the room. Have you ever looked at your cat right in the middle of a hard day and felt like they knew? Like they were watching you with something that wasn't just hunger or habit? Like there was actual understanding behind those eyes? You weren't imagining it. You were right. And today, we're going to show you exactly why with the neuroscience to back it up. Welcome back to the Curious Cat Mind. I'm your host, and this is Season 2, The Emotional Life of Cats. Today's episode, Emotional Intelligence in Cats. What it actually is, how it works inside the brain, and why your cat is without question far smarter, far more emotionally aware than the stereotype has ever given them credit for. For decades, maybe centuries, the cultural story about cats has been pretty consistent. Dogs love you. Cats merely tolerate you. Cats are solitary, emotionally unavailable, basically a small, furry sociopath. And look, I get it. Compared to a golden retriever who greets you like you've been gone to war. Every single time you come home from the grocery store, cats can seem reserved, distant, even like they're running their own private agenda, and you're just incidental to it. But here's the problem with that comparison. We were using the wrong measuring stick. For most of the 20th century, mainstream behavioral science operated under a framework called behaviorism. The idea that animals, including cats, are essentially stimulus response machines. No inner life, no emotional experience, just input and output. You feed the cat stays. Simple transaction, nothing more. That model is now scientifically speaking obsolete. The researchers who built careers on it have largely moved on. The field has moved on. And the data that replaced behaviorism tells a completely different story about your cat. A story that, honestly, most cat owners already suspected was true. They just didn't have the science to point to. Now they do. Let's start in the brain, because that's where this story really begins. Cats possess a limbic system, the same ancient neural architecture that processes emotion in humans. Specifically, they have a functioning amygdala, the region responsible for fear, bonding, and social threat detection. They have a hippocampus involved in emotional memory. And critically, they have the same core neurotransmitters we associate with emotion in our own brains. Dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin. That last one matters enormously. A landmark study published in Applied Animal Behaviour Science found that oxytocin levels in cats rise measurably during positive interactions with their human owners. Oxytocin, the same neurochemical we associate with mother-infant bonding, with romantic attachment, with the feeling of being deeply connected to someone. In cats, it surges during a positive interaction with you. This isn't metaphor. This isn't projection. This is measurable chemistry happening inside your cat's body when they're with you. Then there's the research out of the University of Lincoln in the UK. Scientists tested whether cats could differentiate between happy and angry human facial expressions. And here's where it gets genuinely fascinating. Cats didn't just notice the difference, they adjusted their behavior based on it. When their own owner showed a positive, open expression, cats were significantly more likely to approach, to purr, to rub against them. With a stranger showing the same expression, much less so. This tells us two critical things. First, cats are actively reading human emotional signals. Second, they are selectively socially intelligent. They invest that reading in the relationships that actually matter to them. Your cat isn't just passively aware of your emotions. They're prioritizing the emotional information coming from you specifically. And then there's a study I find genuinely extraordinary. From researchers at Oregon State University. They designed what's called the secure base effect test, the same attachment framework developmental psychologists use with human infants and their caregivers. The idea is simple. Does the presence of an attachment figure reduce stress and increase exploration in the subject? For human babies, the answer is yes. A secure, present caregiver creates a neurological safe haven. For cats, 65% showed the same pattern. The owner's presence measurably reduced the cat's stress response, increased their willingness to explore, calmed their nervous system. Your cat's brain treats you as home, not metaphorically, neurologically. So what does all of this actually look like? In your living room, on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon? Let's talk about the slow blink, when your cat makes deliberate, sustained eye contact with you, and then slowly, intentionally closes their eyes. That is not tiredness. Research suggests this is a voluntary affiliative signal, a communication of trust and relaxed emotional state directed at you. It's sometimes called the cat kiss. And when you slow blink back, studies show cats are measurably more likely to approach you afterward. You're having a conversation, a quiet one, but a real one. Then there's the tail-up greeting. When your cat holds their tail straight up sometimes, with that small, hopeful curve at the tip, as you walk through the door, that behavior has roots in cat social communication. In feline colonies, the tail-up posture signals friendly intent between known individuals. Toward you, it means, "I'm glad you're here. I recognize you as someone safe." That tail is a flag of welcome, and it goes up specifically because of you. Bunting or head rubbing is another one. When a cat presses their forehead or cheek against you, they're doing two things simultaneously. They're depositing pheromones that chemically mark you as familiar and safe. And they're engaging in a behavior that, within cat social groups, is reserved exclusively for bonded individuals. Cats don't bunt strangers. They don't bunt threats. They bunt the ones they've chosen. And then there's kneading, that slow, rhythmic pushing motion, sometimes called making biscuits, that so many cats do against soft surfaces, against blankets, against you. This behavior originates in kittenhood. It's what kittens do against their mother during nursing emotion tied to comfort, warmth, and the deepest sense of safety a young animal can experience. When an adult cat kneads on you, they are in a neurologically regressed state of trust and contentment. That behavior, in an adult animal, is reserved for the people and places where they feel most completely at ease. These are not random quirks. They are not meaningless habits. They are an emotional vocabulary developed over thousands of years of coevolution between cats and the humans who live alongside them. And now you know how to read it. So, knowing all of this, how do you actually respond to a cat's emotional intelligence in a way that deepens the relationship rather than accidentally undermining it? First, meet them in their language, not yours. Cats aren't wired for loud, effusive affection the way some other animals are. If your cat slow blinks at you, slow blink back, and then gently look away. That last part matters. Sustained, unbroken eye contact can actually register as a low-grade threat signal in cat body language. The look away is the completion of the message. It says, "I trust you too. I don't need to monitor you. We're safe here." Second, respect the approach and retreat rhythm. Emotionally engaged cats often initiate contact and then disengage. And that disengagement is not rejection. It's how they regulate emotional intensity. It's healthy. Let them set the pace. Studies consistently show that cats engage longer and more positively in interactions where they control the timing. If you chase the connection, you'll lose it. If you let them bring it to you, they'll keep coming back. Third, learn to recognize stress signals early. Emotional intelligence in cats cuts both ways. It includes negative emotional states, and those states leave signals too. Flattened ears, a tucked or lashing tail, dilated pupils in normal lighting, excessive hiding, a sudden stillness that feels different from relaxed stillness. These are your cat telling you something is wrong. Responding early with calm presence, with reduced noise and stimulation, by giving them space and a quiet exit, prevents those emotional states from deepening into chronic stress. And fourth, perhaps most importantly, acknowledge that your cat has an emotional profile that is genuinely theirs. Some cats are expressive, communicative, almost theatrical in their emotional displays. Some are quieter, more self-contained, more selective about when they show what they feel. Neither is broken. Neither means they feel less. They are simply individuals with their own histories, their own nervous systems, their own ways of being in the world. Just as we are. Here's what I want you to carry away from today. When your cat sits beside you during a hard moment, not because there's food involved, not because there's anything obvious in it for them, they are responding to you, to your emotional state, to the particular frequency of distress or grief or exhaustion that you're broadcasting without words. And their response is rooted in actual neurobiology, in oxytocin, in an amygdala that has learned, over the course of your shared life, to recognize you as safe. When they slow blink at you across the room, that's trust, offered in the only vocabulary they have. When they knead against your side late at night, that is the emotional equivalent of them saying, "With you, I am completely at ease. You are my safe place." When they follow you from room to room, not demanding anything, just present, that's attachment. Real, measurable, neurologically verified attachment. Your cat is feeling things that are real, not in a diminished way, not as a pale imitation of human emotion, but in a way that is genuine to their species, shaped by millions of years of evolution, and expressed every single day in the small, quiet gestures you might have been tempted to explain away. The science is no longer ambiguous. The debate is essentially settled. Your cat has an emotional life, a rich one, and it includes you not as an incidental figure, not as a vending machine for food, but as a genuine object of attachment, trust, and something that, in every meaningful sense of the word, resembles love. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever had a moment? One specific, unmistakable moment where you knew your cat was responding to your emotional state, where something happened and you thought, there is no other explanation for this except that they understood? Tell me in the comments. Describe it. What were you going through? What did your cat do? How did it feel to be seen by an animal that the world kept telling you was indifferent? These stories matter, not just because they're beautiful, though they are, but because they are lived data points in the growing body of evidence for human-cat emotional connection. Science catches up to experience eventually. Your story is part of that. If this episode gave you language for something you've always quietly believed about your cat, share it. With a friend whose cat is misunderstood. With someone who still repeats the cats don't care line like it's settled fact. Let them know the science has moved on. Subscribe to the Curious Cat Mind if you haven't yet. Every episode this season is another layer of the same argument. The cats we live with are emotionally present, emotionally intelligent, and emotionally invested in us in ways we are only beginning to fully understand. They've always known. We're just now catching up. I'll see you in the next one.